The chair now lays out Senate Bill 599 and recognizes its author, Senator Birdwell, to explain the measure.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, this bill seeks to provide district clerks the same opportunity already given to other judicial officers and certain officers of the court in regards to obtaining a license to carry and carrying firearms or handguns into their place of work. Currently, a person is not allowed to carry a handgun on the premises of any government court or offices utilized by the court unless they are specifically exempt by statute. Judicial officers and certain officers of the court are exempt from this restriction provided the officer has a license to carry. District clerks who transport the funds collected from courthouse sales and fees to the county treasurer, sometimes with minimal or no security, are not among those who are exempt and are not permitted to carry a handgun on any court premises. Senate Bill 599 would simply add district clerks to the pre-existing list of judicial officers and officers of the court who are allowed to carry a handgun onto the premises of government courts. This bill will not affect the local judge's ability to adopt security policies and procedures over their courts and would afford the district clerks the opportunity to protect themselves as they perform their duties. Members, my McLennan County District Clerk, John Gimble, is here as a witness, because he's the one that brought the issue to me, and happy to support my local officials. With that, I appreciate your affirmative support of the bill. Thank you, members.
Thank you, Senator Birdwell. Members, any questions for the author before we begin testimony? Very well. The chair calls Honorable John Gimble.
He's coming from way over there.
All right, here he comes. Take your time, Your Honor. Our McLennan County District Clerk to testify for the bill. We do have a few other witnesses who've registered, and again, for those who may be new to the process, if you wish to testify on any bill before the Senate Committee on State Affairs, everybody gets to have a voice here. So make your way just outside this room. There'll be an electronic kiosk where someone can help you get registered. Welcome. Even though we know you, introduce yourself and give us your testimony.
Good morning. I know a few of y'all. Good morning, senators and chairmen. I served with Senator Zaffarini on the Judicial Council and known some of y'all for years. But I was surprised when I got elected district clerk that I couldn't defend myself on the way in or out of the courthouse, as I'm not allowed to bring a gun into the courthouse. Oftentimes across the state, you'd find that your district clerks are located in the courthouse. Occasionally, they'll be in another court building, but almost always we're attached with the courts, and we're the only judicial officer in the courthouse, generally, that is not allowed to concealed carry or open carry to your offices. Every other elected office, and usually their subordinates in the DA's office, are given that privilege. Where it gets a little thorny for us is we often, as Senator Birdwell mentioned, do have to collect the money from the courthouse sales. Most of the money that flows to the courts now for case filings goes electronically, but to complete the courthouse sale, you have to have cash-like substances, and then we have to turn that over to the treasurers, which is almost never in the courthouse in the larger counties. So it's not an easy thing. We don't have security after hours. I'm often there earlier to get juries set up so that when the judges come, everything's ready to go. And at times, when we're seating juries, we're often there after hours. So any questions? Anything I can help with?
Thank you for your testimony. Members, any questions for the district clerk? Thanks for being here. And we'll now open public testimony, and a few folks have registered to testify on, for, or against the bill. Chair calls Cheryl Foster. Cheryl Foster. Is Cheryl here? All right, there we go. Take your time. And after Cheryl will be looking for Jack Hill and Aaron Shank. So just be on deck and be prepared. And so welcome. Introduce yourself and give us your testimony.
Thank you. My name is Cheryl Foster. I'm from Waco, Texas. I'm a constituent of Brian Birdwell, the author of this bill.
Hey, Ms. Foster, get a little closer to the microphone. We want to hear you. We want to hear you.
Short. How's that? Okay. Our district clerk, John Gimble, processes county files and papers and manages jurors. He does not need a gun to do his job. The last time I went for jury duty, I had to pass through metal detectors and a phalanx of well-armed real policemen, armed to the teeth. We do not need another random dude with a gun and questionable training packing heat in our courthouse. It's already like Fort Knox. I don't know why Mr. Gimbel thinks he needs to have a lethal weapon at work. Maybe it's to intimidate the people he works with. Maybe he's ticked off the officers so they won't walk him to his car at night. Maybe he just needs a gun to bolster his manhood. What I do know is
I'm going to ask you to keep your remarks on the merits of the bill. And
I don't know
please,
the merits of the...
let's stay focused on the issue. Thank
What
you.
I do know is that Mr. Gimbel, our district clerk, does not need a gun to do his job. Please don't pass this bill out of committee. It's ridiculous, silly, and really not necessary. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, any questions for the witness?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much.
I doubt that.
Thank you. Your chair now calls Jack Hill. Jack Hill. Welcome. Have a seat. And while you're getting ready, we're going to ask Aaron Shank to come and we can. And Aaron, if you want to go ahead and take one of the other seats, we'll be ready for you after Professor Hill. So introduce yourself, welcome, and give us your testimony.
All right, Senator Hughes and members of the committee, my name is Jack Hill. I'm a retired minister and professor from Waco, and I rise to speak in opposition to SB 599. Although this bill appears to be relatively harmless, it would in effect provide legal cover for the incremental growth of firearms in public places, especially in our courthouses. This is a bad idea for two reasons. First, it assumes that our courthouses aren't already safe. Under current statute, all sorts of judicial officers are permitted to carry handguns into our courthouses, places that are already protected by multiple top-line law enforcement officers. When is enough gun protection enough? Second, why risk making an already well-secured place less secure by increasing the proliferation of guns? In the unlikely scenario of an active shooter event, arming district clerks and additional others would have the practical result of making it harder for police to contain violence, to clearly distinguish in fractions of seconds offenders from defenders. Isn't it simply common sense to limit the number of guns police must deal with in violent situations? Folks, we no longer live in the Wild West. In 2023, let our well-trained professionals take care of security. Don't pass bills that make their jobs more difficult than they already are. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Members, any questions for the witness? Thank you for being here. The chair now calls Aaron Shank, and while Aaron is coming, we'll ask CJ Grisham to just take another seat, and we'll get to you next. So, Aaron, welcome. Introduce yourself and give us your testimony.
Thank you, Senators.
And get a little closer to the microphone.
Thank you, Senators. My name is Aaron Shank, and on November 5th, I'll celebrate my 40th year of being an attorney in this great state. I have represented clients throughout the state of Texas in federal and state court, but primarily in the courthouses in Waco, Texas. I'm also a member of the board of directors of the Waco-McLennan County Bar Association. The Waco Courthouse is one of the most protected buildings in McLennan County, as you've heard from the prior witnesses. Very, very safe place to work. You have to go through metal detectors with armed guards to get in. The judges have panic buttons. There's security cameras everywhere. There's police everywhere. Obviously, defendants are coming in and out of the courtroom, many in the criminal justice system. They are accompanied and shackled. So I dare say that our courthouses are much more safe than my modest law office a couple of blocks away. I rise today to ask, what is the danger in the McLennan County Courthouse that both our senator and our representative have found this so grave that we need to have our clerk have a gun? I don't think that is appropriate at all. Again, this is the office where documents are filed, and they are primarily e-filed, so there's not any contact with the general public in e-filings. And I think we've had enough workplace violence in America and in Texas. And so if you like an office of clerks, someone have a gun in there, we may see more workplace violence. I just do not think this is necessary. The bar has not been approached on this. I don't believe the judges have. I don't know that personally, but I've not seen anything where our judges have been notified of any danger, and so I rise to oppose this bill as I find it unnecessary. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your testimony. Senators, any questions for the witness? Thank you very much. You're excused. The chair calls CJ Grisham. Welcome. Introduce yourself and give us your testimony.
I don't think that one was working. Oh, is there a button? Oh, that's why. My name is CJ Grisham. I come here representing myself as well as the nearly 60,000 members of Open Carry Texas in support of this bill. There is absolutely no reason that anybody with a license to carry should be prevented from being able to carry. So we support any bill that's going to expand the right of people to defend themselves, okay? The key word there is defend themselves. Workplace violence is initiated by people who do not have a license to carry. This bill requires that. What does that mean? That means that they're background checked, they're fingerprinted, they go through training, they have to know the law on when they can and cannot use force. And the statistics show that a license to carry owner in Texas is 6 times less likely to commit a crime than a law enforcement officer. That doesn't mean that law enforcement officers are bad. The stats are still very low. We're talking 1.9% versus 0.3% for license holders. It's just to tell you that when people say we have enough law enforcement officers, well, that doesn't exactly make some people feel very safe. But Open Carry Texas is in support of everybody that has a license to carry, except for, because I am going to be a new attorney here pretty soon, and I'm going to be in the courthouses quite a bit. So it'd be nice if all officers of the court were able to carry, but it makes me feel better when I walk in there to defend my client, knowing that at least there's one extra person in that courtroom should somebody get through security that is going to have my back and be able to defend me and my client or others. That's what this bill is about. It's about allowing people to defend themselves, not to commit workplace violence, not to engage in mass shootings, strictly self-defense. So I thank you for this bill, and I ask that you support it and push it out of this committee.
Thanks for your testimony. Members, any questions for the witness? Okay, thank you very much. You're excused. The chair calls Bradley Hodges. Bradley Hodges. Oh, very good. Take your time. We got you. Take your time. Mr. Hodges is the last witness we have registered on this bill. Hodges, welcome. You've done this before. Introduce yourself and give us your testimony.
Just Brad Hodges, representing self. CJ covered it. I won't waste your time. Just one minor point. Everyone in that building is supposed to be, they have one job function and one job function only. It's to protect, preserve, and promote our rights, life, liberty, and prosperity, and so forth. That includes our Bill of Rights, which includes the Second Amendment, right? Straight up. It's black and white, law of the land. Okay, so if you can't trust your district clerk to abide that, why is he a district clerk? It does not follow. So, good bill. The authority is clean. The intent is good. Yes.
Thanks for your testimony. Members, any questions for the witness? Thanks very much. Anyone else wishing to testify on, for, or against Senate Bill 599?